The Trump administration has imposed sweeping new tariffs on America's trading partners to replace the ones struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court earlier this year. The Section 301 import taxes are the result of an investigation into forced labor in supply chains. A tax of between 10 and 12.5% will be charged on goods imported into the U.S., with exemptions for oil and gas, fertilizer, and some foods. 60 countries will be affected, including some of America's biggest trading partners, Japan, South Korea, India, and Canada, along with the EU and the UK. New tariffs came into force about 2.5 hours ago, just as a temporary 10% tariff imposed by the president expired. Well, tariffs have been a cornerstone of President Trump's trade policy aimed at shrinking America's trade deficit and bringing back manufacturing to the US. So, have they worked? Here's Samira Hussain with the answers. You confused about tariffs? I feel you. First, there were Liberation Day tariffs that were imposed, then suspended, then imposed again, and then ultimately found to be illegal. Then came Section 232 that were announced and then modified. And then, of course, there was Section 122, and then there was Section 301, and tariffs are going to make us rich as hell. These tariffs are going to give us growth like you haven't seen before. Tariffs is the most beautiful word to me in the dictionary. President Trump loves tariffs, but the real question is, are they working? Have they raised money for the government? Yes. According to the Tax Foundation, the Liberation Day tariffs raised $166 billion in the year 2025. But that money is to be refunded after the Supreme Court said that the original tariffs were illegal. Have manufacturing jobs come back to the US? Well, not really, according to government data. It shows that manufacturing employment has actually fallen since the first tariffs were imposed. Have they lowered US imports? Well, not really. US imports have been steadily increasing since the beginning of the year, and in May, they reached near record highs. And are Americans paying more? Well, inflation was already a problem. But according to research by the Yale Budget Lab earlier this year, they estimate that American households are paying 1.5% more because of tariffs. Now that Samira's set the scene, I spoke to Cindy Allen. She's CEO of Trade Force Multiply in Memphis, Tennessee. I asked her if her head is spinning from the constantly shifting world of Trump's tariffs. It's like the daisy chain of tariffs. One tariff goes away, another one takes its place, and what we haven't seen is overall relief for many industries. The Section 301 tariffs that did come into effect about a half hour ago here in the United States do have more carve-outs than we've ever seen in any of the other trade remedies, specifically food, some textiles, which was surprising to a lot of those manufacturing facilities in the US. Pharmaceuticals, specifically raw materials going into pharmaceuticals, and some oil and gas to protect against some of the other pressures that are happening in the oil and gas industry. That is fascinating. So when you're picking through the daisies, you see that this one's a slightly different picture. But is there a thought that these tariffs, for what they do stand for, that those areas that didn't get a carve-out might still get struck down and the money refunded, as has happened with the other tariffs in the past? The Section 301 is seen to really insulate the administration from being sued for not having grounds to assess the tariffs. The Section 301 authority is clear, and it gives the president the authority to assess tariffs on things that could impact U.S. citizens or the economy. And this argument that the lack of forced labor enforcement by essentially the whole world has resulted in economic impact is seen to fare better in courts, but we do expect a challenge like every other tariff remedy that has come into play in the US. Okay, so the sense that it's maybe on stronger legal ground, but not necessarily definitive. Have your clients, by the way, Samira was mentioning it, have they had their refunds from the Liberation Day tariffs? Yeah, we've seen almost $1 billion in refunds go back or be allocated back to importers, so that process is ongoing and has been successful. And a lot of companies are hesitant to reinvest that money or refund it to their customers because they do see that the trade remedy tariffs will continue to be assessed. So many of them are just putting it in their bank account and using it to pay future costs for tariffs. Right, so it didn't come back to the customers, it stopped with the businesses. Yes, that's what we've seen overall. There are a few court cases, a few challenges by end consumers asking for that money back, but we have not seen resolution of those cases yet.